Hello everybody, this is Kamika Dash with a bit of an unexpected video, even from myself. I didn't expect to get a script done for this in time to where I felt like I could just kind of go. So I'm going to be talking about The Hidden Ones, a recent PC and mobile free-to-play arena fighter. And I really like the game, just to give like a short form of my opinion immediately. I think it's really fun. Do I agree with a lot of like anime game content creators saying it's like the future of arena fighters and stuff like that? No, but I do think it's very fun in its own right and does deserve a good amount of praise. So what even is The Hidden Ones? What's it about? I can't entirely tell you what's it about because I've never read the Chinese webcomic it was based on, and I've never seen the anime, which is 5 seasons. I've barely seen some of these characters before, and I know one of my friends showed me a clip from the show once, but other than that, this is just me interacting with it just as a whole for the first time. And I think, genuinely, I want to read it after playing. So, getting on to, talking more about the game here. The only things I can really say about mainly the visuals, because again, I'm not a fan of the series itself. I haven't really interacted with it outside of the game. So for me, I think the game immediately looks beautiful. I think it looks really good. Like, I like the character designs a lot, even though they don't really feel like they're entirely up my alley. But I do like just going back to, oh yeah, these characters just look like they're wearing like normal ass street clothes. They just look more like normal people, just with like, pretty solid fashion sense. Like, it's just very nice to me. I really like it. In terms of music, in terms of sound, music, I don't really have much to say. I feel like it gets its job done. It's very nice for the most part. I think it fits with whatever's going on within the game. It's just that immediately nothing really comes to mind that's like a toe tapper, or like, oh, big ass jam, or like, oh yeah, I turn on the fighting game to listen to this. Like, but that's fine. Not everything needs to be. I don't think, like, even though music to me is a big part of games, I don't think your music needs to be absolutely amazing for the game to be good, even though I do think the music being better is definitely I personally just want different music. That's basically what I'm saying. It's like my issue with like Marvel's Spider-Man, where I love that game. Damn, do I want a different soundtrack? But it's fine. It's not offensive. It doesn't make me upset. It's just one of those, it doesn't feel as, bombastic or to me as lively as like a fighting game OST should, but that's just me. Speaking of sound, considering I brought up music, the voice acting, I did not expect this game to have a dub, especially considering the anime itself, that this guy doesn't even have a dub. Well, if you count the Japanese version, that would count as a dub, so it has a Japanese dub, not an English one. So I was shocked to see that this even had one. And honestly, it was very solid.
I've got the full picture after digging around for a few days. There are 3 different groups watching you walk. First group's a local gang, run by this Biao. Real name's Chenda Biao.
Biao?
Yeah, they've done plenty of dirty work in the capital. Express has got them blacklisted. They've avoided getting caught. Remember that van from the other night? After leaving the alley, they swapped plates. Took all sorts of twists and turns all around town before parking at this old community. Wong, how about you pop in for a friendly chat?
Me? With who?
With Biao, who else? Find out who's pulling the strings.
And he'll just tell me?
Depends how persuasive you can be. Get moving, Wong.
I'm not sure about this.
Hey, you. Hold it right there. Beat it.
Well, I need to see, Biao.
Looking for Piao? More like looking for a beatdown.
It did feel awkward at points with some lines, but honestly, I really like it. It brought me back to a kind of weird mid-2000s dub vibe, but you know, it just sounded a lot, it sounded cleaner. Characters just sounded like people. Like, they didn't really sound like, I don't want to say it didn't sound like they were acting, because that defeats the point of saying they were voice acting, but they just sounded very natural to me. So I didn't really have a problem with how anyone sounded from what I've played and seen in the alpha test.
May, we're in over our heads. I don't see a way out of this.
Biao, we can't both go down here. I've got a plan. I'll hold Wang Ye off. Run while you can.
May, you
Don't.
can't.
Just, I get it, okay? We'll be lovebirds in another life, when things are different. Just promise me.
Hate to break up the drama, but your Romeo has already bounced.
Tapioka, you spineless rat!
Live to fight another day, eh? You'll see.
All that yapping while running away. What a doofus.
Don't even try to trick me into talking. All of you are spewing nonsense out of your guts. Screw off. All you dipwads. Screw off.
Yeah. Better hurry after Biao. He took off that way, right?
So, moving on to gameplay. Gameplay is where obviously the game should, you know, shine more, because, you know, it's a video game. It's not a visual novel where you have to click through it. It's not, well, no, RPGs, the gameplay does have to shine, but it doesn't have to be amazing. Then again, realistically, to me, no game has to be amazing. You just have to be fun enough with using basic mechanics and what you can do with them. And I think Hidden Ones does that very well. So, Hidden Ones is, again, free-to-play arena fighter, which, to dispel anything, immediately out the gate, you'd think, oh, free-to-play, PC and mobile, it's a gacha game, it's gonna make you spend so much fucking money. No, there's no gacha system, and yes, there is a premium currency, but it and the basic in-game currency can be just gotten by playing the game. Currently, it feels very free-to-play friendly. I'm saying currently because I don't know if things are going to change later on, so I want to at least keep... I know I can't absolutely future-proof this shit, but I'm going to try my damnedest, you know, at least for now, and say things like that, instead of just going, things are this, period, and then things change on release, and then I just sit there feeling like a jackass. This is for me, not for y'all. But, so gameplay for the Hidden Ones, I feel, satisfies this weird philosophy I always had with a lot of games, especially now that I'm older and played a lot more of them, where I don't really entirely care how many tricks and bells and whistles you can do. It's important to have them, yes, but I feel like when you get something that feels satisfying, despite how simple it is, you've made good gameplay. And I feel like the Hidden Ones, for the most part, does it in a way that I enjoy. So, starting off, real simple, you move with the left stick. Obvious, very, very obvious. If I remember right, I'm going to use PlayStation buttons because that's what I'm used to, even though the controller I use for my PC is labeled as an Xbox controller, even though it's an 8-bit DOS, so it can be literally anything. I just have it set to, you know, what the PC will accept, but by default. But the X button is your basic attack, which is very weird to get used to. Your square button is your first special. Triangle is your second. Circle would be your dodge, if I remember right, because the triggers is where I start to like lose it a bit. If I remember right, I think it's either L1 or R1 that's guard. No, it's L1. It's L1, I'm remembering. I'm pretty certain it's L1 that's guard. R1 is breakaway, and it's also a cancel button, which I'll explain what that is later. And R2 will bring up the doppelgangers you selected for a match, which are basically like your assists in any other fighting game. So how does it all work? Basic attacks are very simple. They're your basic attacks. You only get one string, and what's interesting is on block, it automatically turns your basic attack into a grab. And that's going to be a controversial thing, and I can very much, obviously tell you why. In most fighting games, grabbing is usually, you get very close to somebody and you press a direction, the attack button, or, it's a set button combination you press when you're close enough to somebody. Like, even in a couple of arena fighters with grabs, like for instance, Tenkaichi and Sparking Zero, it was either up close you hit forward and X, or you double tap X, or etc. In Storm, it's you block and press the melee button. A lot of games use that as a grab or an unblockable input, and that's just how things work. This game doesn't do that. It just straight up makes your basic attack a grab, and I'm personally in the middle about it. I think it's fine for what the game's trying to do, but it does feel it feels annoying to get hit by it, but at the same time, it makes me feel like a fucking criminal whenever I hit it. And honestly, I feel more positive about it than negative after actually thinking about it. Like, it feels like a war crime, but it also makes it so fun. It also very much disincentivizes, is it disincentivizes or disincentivizes? But anyway, it pretty much tells you, hey, we don't turtle around here. You can't do that and just get ahead that way. It's nice to play defensive, and there are reasons to guard, but do it smarter. Moving on to specials. Specials are really interesting because there are specific ones called standards and sinisters. Standards are moves that can be blocked and dodged, but it's more beneficial to block them, because when you get hit by a standard on block, when you guard a standard, it basically opens them up to get freely countered. The thing is, blocking in this game is also a weird kind of parry state, where if enough attacks land, like say if you use a special move that's multi-hit, that's a standard, if enough attacks get blocked, or you immediately block the first attack, a small bar will speedily just empty on the bottom of the screen, and if you press the attack button, whatever you have it set to, in that amount of time, your character will automatically counter, the opponent will take damage, and it'll reset to neutral. There's a nice little offshoot where if you block, but you don't do the counter in time, it just turns into a deflect. Or if you just block and it doesn't show up at all, it'll turn into a deflect and reset you both to neutral, no damage on either side. So, and the next thing with specials is called sinisters. Now, sinisters are similar concept to standards, except your enemy flashes red instead of blue. If I didn't say it, your enemy flashes blue when they use a standard. With Sinister, they flash red. And these are completely unblockable. You have to dodge out of the way or just move out of the way. You are not defending against this otherwise. And basically, they incentivize perfect dodging, but regular dodging's fine, because a lot of these do leave people incredibly open, especially Won Yu, the main character. I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. I'm gonna look back and feel like a jackass if I'm not. But for instance, his secondary special, which is one that puts him into a stance where he can do three things. He can, I think, hit you with a water wave. Yeah, I think the first one is hitting you with a water wave. The second one is basically hitting you with the earth, basically summoning a big rock spike out of the ground and surfing on it. And the third one is that he stomps in a circle around him and it summons a bunch of lightning. That, as far as I know, is the only Sinister in his moveset, and it leaves him incredibly open on whiff. You are getting your ass kicked. You don't even need to perfect dodge it. You miss that if they got meters, they don't even have to do anything special. They can just hit you once or twice, hit ultimate, and you're out of there, buddy. But, yeah. Sinisters are, again, other specials that you need to make sure when to use them, because at least the one that I have encountered, it feels so bad when you have to just let it rock. But thankfully, you don't have to hold a lot of things entirely, because the game has a cancel system on R1. So what the cancel button does is that it basically, if you've played Clash of Ninja you've probably heard of Y cancels in the later games if you're part of that community. And if you haven't, and this is your first time hearing about it, this is just a mechanic from Clash of Ninja, well, GNT4, because we never got that over here. So that would be GNT4, but we never got the mechanic until Clash of Ninja Revolution, which is a weird Americanized port of GNT3 with cut content still for some ungodly reason, despite covering the exact same story arc. But that's besides the point. So what Y canceling basically was is that in Clash of Ninja, any grounded attack that launches the opponent could be Y canceled for the cost of 1/4 of a chakra bar. The Hidden Ones has something incredibly similar, but it's more similar to another Aiden game made later on, Kamen Rider Climax Heroes, where Rider cancels, which are basically Y cancels on crack. You could pretty much just do them anywhere in a combo, I think, with the exception of the later Climax Heroes games where you can't do them off of specials. You can only do them off of normals, but it was any normal, and the normal didn't even have to hit. Hidden Ones is more like Climax Heroes Original and Double, where you can do it off of specials too, so you don't have to hold anything. So, say for instance, I'm playing Wanya, I got you in the 3-hit string, I decide to cancel on the 2nd hit of the string, and then use my fucking little kind of Rekka attack he has as his first special on Square. I cancel on the last hit. It does give a slight ground bounce and gives me some time to start hitting you again with basic attacks. So I start doing it again. I cancel the 2nd hit again. And then, because I have enough time, I hit his 2nd special and then do the lightning. And now, oops, you're caught in it unless you decide to break away, which is on the same button. The thing is that costs these little diamonds, which I'm going to refer to as stamina. I don't remember what the game calls it exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's the equivalent of stamina. And stamina is taken up by dodging using breakaways and combo canceling, and each has a different amount. Dodging in and of itself just takes 1 diamond away from your stamina. Cancels take 2, and breakaways take 3. And I honestly really like this system. It feels like, honestly, an infinitely better version of Storm's substitute system, which is something that I've always had major beef with, because that game's damage feels too low to have a get me out of here option at like 4 of them at the start of a fucking fight. Like, to me, that just never felt right to me. But yeah, so it's on top of like the diamond management, it's also just basically holding down pretty alright neutral, not defending too much, but also knowing when you can get in, or hey, how would something benefit me here? And it's very simple, but to me it's very satisfying. And last but not least, you have I think your ultimate's on L2 and your doppelgangers are on R2. So before I forget, let me mention those. Your ultimate's just a basic ultimate. It's your big super ultimate. It's the ending move. You end matches on it. It deals a lot of damage. You can combo into it very easily. Just do most of your string, or hell, even just 1 hit. Hit the ultimate button and boom, you comboed into it. It can win your rounds. It can save your life. As long as you hit confirm or combo into it, you're good. Like, don't be stupid and just throw it out sometimes, because it will not work out in your favor. And lastly, the doppelganger system. These are basically assists. They cost a certain amount of points when you set them up, and they can cost from 1 to 3. You only have 4 points, if I remember right, per match to use for doppelgangers. So you use them, and again, they're basically assists based on other characters in the game. Like, I'm forgetting his name. I think it's Jugalian? It's one of the Juga boys. I know it's one of them. But he specifically has this little move called Ethereal Rope, which is basically a very short bind move, which allows for combo extension. I am garbage at remembering which one this is set to, and every time I use it, I go, shit, I could have extended a combo, but I'm stupid, and I forgot. But it's a very neat system, and it honestly just reminds me of what, and I say this a lot with a lot of arena fighters I've played post, playing all the Storm, well, most of the Storm games, because I haven't played Generations or haven't put really any time in Revolution. But been playing like a lot of arena fighters over the past decade, especially more so in the last like 6-7 years, because jobs and money. It's very much I have noticed I've said this a lot in terms of friend group. If you've known me in like certain friend groups, I've said this before, but man, I really wish this game was what Storm was. I've said this with Kinokami Chronicles. I've said this with parts of Eyes of Heaven. I'm still not a fan of Eyes of Heaven, but I can admit it has a lot of cool concepts, and I like the idea behind its combo system. I just wish it was a bit more lenient, and its UI was less kind of garish and obtuse, even though I know JoJo's whole thing is being stylistic. All-Star Battle and All-Star Battle R's UI is so much more readable, and I understand what's going on top of, well, yes, the game doesn't teach me the heavily advanced shit. I can at least feel it out and go, oh, there's more here. Meanwhile, Eyes of Heaven feels very, we kind of just forgot to tell you can do more here. You just had to feel it out, which I'm usually fine with, but with how the game feels on top of how it functions with its UI, it's very messy. But thankfully, I don't think the Hidden Ones is messy. I just think its UI is a bit too boring, but it gets the job done. Personally, in terms of like playing the characters, I really like, and again, forgive me if I butcher these names, I'm going to look them up later. If I break momentum now, I'm gonna be fucking mad. But I wanted to play Juga Guan. I'm probably saying the last part of that name horribly wrong. But if I am saying the name wrong, the nigga in the green coat with the fucking mask on, I think he looks really cool. He has the street fighting type of style that I love. Very thuggish feeling. It's just very fucking cool. And then the more I play him, it's just the fire move that's supposed to OTG. I don't like how OTGs, which if you don't know means like moves to hit on the ground, I don't like how they feel in this game, because it's like, oh, you gotta wait to confirm they're down and then do them, instead of, oh, they're down, I can just do them. Because, like, as far as I know, there's no way to immediately jump up outside of a breakaway, so I honestly am not the biggest fan. But instead, I stuck to, Mr. John Hidden Ones himself, Juan Yu, and I don't really like how he feels, but honestly, I feel like his moveset enough is pretty, it's pretty understandable. Minus his second special needing a second input, which took me a bit to get used to, honestly, and I'm still not entirely used to it. I think he's a solid main starting character. I feel like he has good specials, he has good basic fundamentals. Only a 3-hit string, but I mean, hey, sometimes that's all you need. He still does a good amount of damage, and he's fun, so that's all you really need. Second is Feng Bao Bao, or Feng Bao Bao. I don't know if I'm saying these names too fast or too slow or saying the right syllables. I'm just kind of going off of what I remember hearing and how my brain reads it. So again, please forgive me. But I think she's really fun and fucking goofy. Because when I see somebody talking about, oh, looks like I found who's gonna get buried next, I was sitting here like, oh, she's a serial killer. And then I see the windscreen where fucking she's actually burying the cameraman, and then proceeds to bash their head in with the shovel. The head of the shovel breaks, and then it hits her in the head, and she just looks up like, huh? She either looks up or keeps looking like, huh? And it's very great. I don't really even know how to play her. I just have fun. It just makes me feel like, yeah, I'm a nigga with a knife. I'm a crazy girl with a knife. Let's fucking go. And lastly, for characters that I really like trying out, God forgive me, I gotta go back to look at the script. I was doing so well, and I have to go back to look at the script for this. But what was her name? Lu Ling Long. I really like playing as Lu. I think she's very fun. I very much enjoy her little stance she has that seems to like boost damage on top of enable her to have like a sidestep attack, which still costs like more stamina, so I'm not really sure how to effectively use it. But I have fun using her specials and combo canceling with her, and I genuinely do also just love the way she fights. And also, the one other named player I ran into like doing matches in this game, shout outs to them. They kicked my ass and 0-3'd my team with her. I really did all this and forgot to mention that, you know, PvP fights are all done like KOF style, 3v3. One guy goes down onto the next guy, that guy goes down onto the last guy. Same hat. You do recover a bit of health each round. It's basically Arena Fighter KOF, but very simple and with more of a cancel system. And I just really like this game. For main gripes, I'd like to say, main gripes, I do feel like, again, they should like run like more of a test and ask people how they feel about, you know, how grabs work in the game, on top of, personally for me, moving around in this game feels a bit weird. Like, your basic run doesn't really feel fast enough. It's kind of like, how do I word this? Like, you know how, like, you know, running feels in other arena fighters, like, for instance, I like One's Justice 1 and 2. Running in that game, to me, it's fine feeling a bit slow, because that's what you have a dash for. You can't immediately block out of it, but hey, it doesn't take that long to get into a position where you can block. And again, because you want to rush in, obviously, defense is like an afterthought. So, you know, it makes sense to be like that. Here, you can defend immediately, and it feels good. My only issue is just movement itself feels a bit sluggish. The actual gameplay doesn't really, but I wouldn't really mind if the gameplay got a speed boost by the time it officially came out in full. But again, that's just me. And those are really my two main gripes. Otherwise, I think this is solid. Again, I don't really see the, oh, it's gonna be the future of arena fighters here. I like the game, but I'm not gonna, you know, go, ah, yes, this is peak. It's so much better than the garbage we've been getting, when a lot of what we've been getting hasn't even been garbage, and I feel like a lot of it is either incredibly, man, I've only played one thing and I didn't like that, so it's ass, or man, I've only played one thing and I'm tired of assuming and you assume everything's the one thing because, you know, similar genre or same genre, so everything's the same, even though it has different developers and different mechanics and plays different. But we love Sparking Zero, though. That's been going pretty great for the past 5 months. Tangent aside, I really like the game, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of it within the future. Thank you for watching. This video has been hard to record. I gotta get used to doing this because I actually do want to put out content. So, have a good day. That's all I got. I don't know how to end these, man. See y'all later if you come by.